to be an actress because my older sister, she kind of did this play thing back when she was like in 8th grade. It was this murder mystery. It was absolutely hilarious. And it just sounded so fun to just go into a different world and just become a completely different person. I was a kid who really loved to pretend, and being an actress just kind of sounded like an excuse. Because when you come down to it, acting's kind of like pretending for older people. Because the production I was in was for a school class, she basically had us memorize a couple of excerpts, one from the opening song of the show and one from the first main song from the lead character. Just a couple little excerpts. And once we had those memorized, we went up in little groups, like 5 or 6 at a time. And so there would be like 5 or 6 people behind you. We'd each step up when it was our turn in line and sing it twice. And then they would just take whichever audition they thought was better. The following week, we did callbacks, in which they gave us a couple different little excerpts that we didn't have to memorize, just ones that we had to have the rough idea down on for certain characters. I was called back for the lead role, Lady Larkin, the Jester, just a few different little parts that kind of worked with that. People who had been called back for lead roles, we went and worked with the choir teacher on stuff, actually, on these little special pieces. When we got back, all of us who had lead callbacks, we went up to the stage to do some chemistry tests. I actually ended up being the Jester, which was one of the lead roles, not like the biggest or anything. Fingers crossed for this next year's production, but this year was really fun. The play I was actually in for this was called Once Upon a Mattress. It's kind of like a fractured fairy tale version of Princess and the Pea. It was basically about the main character, Winifred. But yeah, she shows up, and in this kingdom, there's actually a law passed that no one in this kingdom can get married until the prince, Dauntless, can get married. His mother, she's kind of a jerk, and the past 12 princesses, she has come up with absolutely impossible tests that, as the queen puts it in a later scene, that looks fair, sounds fair, and seems fair, but isn't fair. And Winifred shows up, and she's not your kind of traditional princess. And as the Jester, me, the minstrel, and the king are all best friends. And we also very much like the idea of Winifred and Dauntless becoming a thing. The queen and the wizard basically come up with the most insane thing ever. They're going to make Winifred absolutely exhausted. They are going to give her a sedative. And then they're going to put her on top of 20 mattresses and see if the next morning she manages to not fall asleep while she's on this pea. But the play ends up with Winifred coming out the next morning as the queen's just announcing her excellent fair test. And Winifred comes out and she's counting sheep, actually. And everyone's just like, hold up a second, you didn't sleep. And she's like, nope. And of course everyone but the queen explodes with happiness because they can finally get married. They can finally start dating people again. Honestly, what really made it such a fun thing was that it wasn't kind of, most of the plays and stuff I've heard about, they're kind of depressing when you get down to it. This production was just one of the funnest things I've ever seen. I'd say technical-wise, the hardest thing was the microphones. Me and Sir Harry have to switch mics 3 times during the show. Character-wise, it was kind of hard to find that balance between the Jester being this like really big, outspoken character, but also they're not the lead. You're supposed to be there, but you aren't the presence. I think that this production really helped me become a better person because this was the first time in my life I was able to really like find that balance between enough stress to be like trying hard and making work without being totally lax about it. It was really nice to just kind of let loose with it, have fun, but still be like working. It made me better at taking feedback as well. Those are both things I've struggled with in the past, and so this show just really helped me just kind of get to a point where I can just say, oh, that needs to be fixed? Okay, I'll go fix it. When we finished the play, that final performance, it was just really fulfilling.